Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this video. And in this video we're going to do another Ask Kieran, and this is a very good question. This is probably one of the best questions I've had thus far. So everyone else sending questions, step your game up, Marcus, PSP. Okay, anyway, but seriously, this question comes from Stephen, if I'm allowed to say your name. Fuck it, I will, I don't care. Do you think that one day, perhaps in the near future, physical media such as Blu-ray or DVD, will be overtaken by digital downloads and services such as the PlayStation Network and Live Marketplace? Perhaps even to the point of consoles coming without a physical media drive, e.g. the PSP Go, which in fairness didn't go very far at all. Alright, let's answer this. Never. You'll probably never ever in our lifetime, well, maybe in our lifetime, but in the near future, and probably the distant future, I don't think we'll escape Blu-ray or DVD, or some kind of physical device that you have to put into your Xbox or your PlayStation or your whatever it is in the next 20 years. And I'll tell you why. Believe it or not, there are still people out there with an Xbox or a PlayStation or a Wii or a whatever they're still making games for that is not connected to the internet. And that means less customers. Believe it or not, there are probably people in some hillbilly shack somewhere, you fucking asshole, that don't have the internet, or old people with the Wii, especially, even with the Kinect maybe, that just don't have the internet. So you're losing customers that way. I mean, DVDs are about, 60, 80 cents to manufacture. Blu-ray, I don't know. I'm assuming that'd be more, maybe in the dollars. So they're cheap. I mean, a lot of people seem to think that maybe they're coming out with flash drives. Or they're saying, well, you can fit, like 12 gig on a flash drive. Why don't you come out with that? Well, look how much a 12 gigabyte flash drive costs. And not only that, but look at when the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 came out. Like a 512 megabyte flash drive was expensive. So you got to keep that in mind when the flash drive and the cartridge based. Because CDs are like 60 cents to manufacture. So of course they're going to go with the cheaper item. But I don't think it'll ever happen, because game sharing is pretty relevant relevant on the PlayStation Network, not so much the Live Marketplace on the Xbox. And I think it would be unfair for consumers as well. Like, Steam does a pretty good job of just doing it in US dollars, and if you have, if your currency is the franc or the euro, well, they don't do the franc anymore, would they? Because that would be overtaken by the euro. The pound, the dollar, the peso, it still goes and translates into US dollars, which is good because then everyone is on the equal playing ground. But now we see Origin, for example, from EA, where, for Australia at least, instead of doing it in US dollars, it's done in Australian dollars, and we have to pay more. So instead of paying the 60 US dollars that we would on Steam, on Origin we have to pay about 80 Australian dollars, and at the moment, obviously, the Australian dollar is worth a lot more, well, not a lot more, but worth more than the US dollar, which sucks. So I think that there would be unfair on that part, because Microsoft and PlayStation like to bend everyone that's not the United States over and fuck them red raw. Well, Canada might be a bit of an exception, but I can't see it happening. I think there would be, for some reason, I'm kind of tempted to say there would be copyright somewhere, but that doesn't really make sense. But you won't see it, primarily because of the people don't have the internet. And, in some countries, like this country, believe it or not, this is going to sound, I mean, people watching from Scandinavia, you're going to be scratching your blonde hair and clicking your clogs together, because you're not going to believe this. But in Australia, right, I have the fastest download that's currently available on, that's not a business plan. Well, it might have changed now that they've done a little bit of the ABN, which is the, wait, is it ABN? Australian Broadband Network, where they're planning to upgrade it to 100 megabits a second. But that'll never happen because they're idiots and they don't know what they're doing. But at the moment, I have 20 megabit a second. I don't get that. I get probably about 16, 15 megabit a second if I'm lucky. So it would take a while. I mean, there are people in this country that, I think the majority of people in this country at least are probably on 1.5 megabit a second. That would be my guess. And not only that, but here's the big, in the woodpile. that the fact that in this country, and this is where you're going to start clicking your clogs together and start speaking, Finnish, you have a cap to how much you can download. So if you're downloading fucking LA Noir, which is 25 gig, you are going to be fucked. And, I have a download cap, but my download cap is 200 gigabytes, which I'll never, ever, ever go over. But some people have download caps of 5 gigabytes, 10 gigabytes, 15, 20 gigabytes. So, if you play a lot of games, then you're up the shit, essentially. And that's not every country, but I'm saying, if they were to do that, then it would definitely limit the people. I think New Zealand does it as well. There are other countries that do it probably because the government is shit. And it's ridiculous that they do that. But, hey, it's Australia, whatever. You can get away with it here. This is the thing. I'm going to go into a rant here. This is the fucking thing that pisses me off about Australia. Australian retail can go and fuck themselves. As soon as they notice that people are buying online because they don't want to pay fucking double what everyone else in the world pays, they go straight to the government. Instead of, if you were a business and you're losing customers to the internet because it's cheaper, maybe it might be a good idea to fucking lower the prices, you dumb bunch of cunts. But instead of doing that, they go bitch to the government, they're buying online, so they want to tax people for buying online, but that would fail because the people sending it would send it as a gift and you wouldn't know, so you couldn't tax it. Fucking people are so stupid in this country. But that's beside the point. You won't see it, primarily because it's cheap to do Blu-ray DVD. Not everyone has the internet, not everyone has the capabilities, if they do have the internet, to download games. And I think it's ridiculous that if anyone were to do that, it would be Apple, but they would be making trillions of dollars off overpriced crap anyway, so it's not like it matters to them. So that's my thoughts. It's a very good question, but in short, I don't think you will ever see download only on a majority console such as the PlayStation or the Xbox. On Live is a little bit different. It would definitely... you're seeing it now, you have both. Steam is a great example of that. If you don't want to get it on Steam, you can go to GameStop or whatever and buy it, copy in a box. And I think the Xbox and the PlayStation don't do that already, but they have a delay, obviously. So that's my thoughts on that. So what are your thoughts? Will we ever see the removal of physical media, and will that be overtaken by digital downloads? Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, have a good one. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Au revoir.